Honduras is one of the poorest countries in Central and South America, but there's a new idea about to be tried in Honduras. It's called a ZED, a privately run zone with legal, economic, and political autonomy. The laws are all in place, investors are lined up and ready to go, and the big question's about to be answered. Will this actually work? This is Choloma, one of the poorest and most dangerous cities in Honduras, which is one of the poorest and most dangerous countries in the world. But even here, experiments in governance have already yielded some interesting results.
Having rules set up as people come in, it prevents from a lot of the problems that communities have in the rest of the country.
Within Choloma are so-called free zones in residential cities like Los Castaños. Foreign companies build manufacturing plants and want a safe place for their workers to live nearby. So they create their own company towns.
Los Castaños de Choloma is a very interesting project on the model that it presents. Residences around $12,000 to $25,000. It's a hard working class, but they live in peace. Most of those people live happily and feel safe. And that's 5 minutes away from one of the most dangerous parts in the country.
En San Pedro no me gustó otro lugar porque es inseguro. Como yo te decía, las primeras colonias seguras de Honduras.
Los Castaños has its own rules and security and a 3 strikes and you're out policy. And within its boundaries, there are several gated neighborhoods with their own codes and norms. Residents are all on rent-to-own leases, meaning they have equity in the land. The contrast with the surrounding area is stark. Kids play in the streets, yards are well kept. People just seem proud of where they live.
Y como dicen, las primeras colonias modelo, y son muy buenas.
About 10 miles west of Choloma, there's an even starker contrast on display. On one side of the road lies a giant squatters' village that's filled the river with waste. On the other, a modern high-tech business park called Altia.
This is a smart city. We create a very secure environment that's sustainable on its own, so people work, study, they go to the shopping center. You can actually leave your car open here, walk around. And this is the whole idea of the smart city concept. And it's really safe, really, really safe.
Altia is a real estate company owned by a foreign national from Pakistan. Like Los Castaños, they've been granted the autonomy to manage their own land and set and enforce their own rules. The result is a clean, secure environment where several companies have located their call centers, which employ hundreds of Hondurans, like Edwin Escalante, who was brought to the U.S. by his mother as a teenager and then deported 10 years later when he applied for a job in America. Soon after landing in Honduras, he got a job at Altia.
I had to start all over again from ground zero. Every place, the best way to get a job is through a good education.
Altia recognizes the power of education and even paid to build a branch of a public university on their property.
There's nothing but a river between these two properties, if you want to say. On one side you have municipal land, weak property rights, land that's basically worthless right now because there's no clean titles, there's a mess. And on the other side you have very clear property rights. You have a private-owned development with a clear path looking for economic benefit out of the project at the end of the day. This is a real estate project.
Peña says that areas like Los Castaños and Altia are small but tangible examples of what the future of Honduras might begin to look like once the ZEDs begin opening.
Discussions that have been going around with the ZED program are as interesting as I bet the conversations were when the country was being founded. How should we model our administration? What should drive our economy? How to protect people's rights, which I think is an enriching conversation to be having in 2014.
But can a good idea survive the messy reality of politics? We explore that question next with the critics, the strategists, and the skeptics.